It says we're live. Let me go back to there I go. I never freaking have my page ready. Done.
I'm ready.
Let's see. Are you on Facebook? You see us?
I get a sticker. No, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
It's still loading. So, hi, friends. Thank you for
There it is.
tolerating the beginning buffer.
Yes. Buffer, like Jimmy Buffer.
You're so funny.
Anyway, good people. We have one person on there. Hello, hello, hello.
I
I don't
see.
know who you are because they have to say something, or you have to if you go on the StreamYard, I don't think they allow you to you have to sign up to stream. We got two people, two space people out there. We don't know who you be. Good morning, happy MLK Day. Uh, you guess what we're gonna talk about? MLK, but it might not be the way you think it's gonna be talked about. A twist. You know, like a twister or the rapper Twister. What's his name? Twister. 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 It's gonna be a twister.
There is a
Let's
twister.
say.
Hey,
Leaders
Crystal.
on Crystal Ann. What's up, Mama? Shreya. What's
Shreya.
up, Mama? Um, why MLK?
Why? Why,
Uh,
John? Tell us.
what if I told you that he was a humanoid? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
He was a futurist. Hey, how many people out there are aware that the X-Men sci-fi was really talking about civil rights?
Oh, wow. I was not a comic
Good
book
morning, Brian.
nerd.
Oh my gosh. Yes, MLK was one of the characters in the X-Men.
Say more.
So what happened from what I was told from my brother, his name slips me. That's my senior writer's kicking in. Uh, he said that when the writer of Marvel, I can't remember his name either. Shit, I'm having brain farts. Uh, Anybody out there can help me say his name? He actually was writing for a group of people that were not going to be able to accept the story of civil rights. So what he did is he went back door. Now this is the time. Sometimes I talk about close your back door. I was gonna
Yeah.
say that you're going sexual. Lila. No, I'm not talking about that back door.
No,
I'm
Stan
talking about the
Lee.
black door, the back door. I call it the black door. The back door of this reality, so you can only move forward. So he went back door so that, hey, what's up, CC? He went back door so he could actually bring some information through comic books to people about people who are different. Think
I
about
love
X-Men were
art.
actually exiled because they were different. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny now. It's like how we do this separation and division stuff. I ain't
Oh,
down
yeah.
with it. I don't roll with it. As these people would say, I'm still with George Clinton Funkadelic. We don't roll like that. I'm
Yeah.
from Funktron. And when you're from Funktron, you have a different concept of how you be. But anyway, I can't remember the brother. Did your kids in the room know who wrote some of the Marvel story?
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee. Stan Lee. Yes, and he appeared in a lot of the movies. He pulled an Alfred Hitchcock move that he showed up in most of his movies before he passed. And the very last one, after he died, he still showed up. So I was like, that's dope. I like that. But Stan Lee was writing stories about civil rights when it comes to X-Men. And it's kind of interesting that you have to go back door to get somebody to look at something because of rightness.
Mm.
And it's a lot of stuff because I always go back and look at the background. Like Dr. King carried a gun for the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other thing that a lot of people didn't know, at the very end of Dr. King's life, he started to sound like Malcolm X.
Say
One of his
more.
last quotes is, "Did I enter my people into a burning house?" Because he looked at the scenario, and in my terms, he said, "Ooh, this look kind of effed up." What's up, Brenda? How you doing? He said, "This look like effed up with the civil rights thing." And then I have this other piece too. That what would he be doing now?
Mm.
How would King have evolved to present day if he was still
Yeah.
living. You know what I'm saying? It's just some stuff that makes you go back and you look at like I look a little bit different. And the question of it is where is King? I love celebrating. I mean, I remember when I was younger, much younger. We're just talking about this. I was in my 20s, and had just graduated from college, and it's before I went to work for Club Med. Uh, I think we look at Dr. King holiday as like, oh, it's here. It's every year, every January is Dr. King holiday. There was resistance, and in my Darth Vader voice, resistance is futile. Okay, yeah, I'm throwing it all in this morning. But the whole concept behind that is that uh, people were in resistance of that because what happens is that when you start to bring up history, so I'm gonna tell you this other thing, his story. Say it real slow for you guys out there who might not have coffee yet on the West Coast. His story. You always tell the story from your perspective, your interesting point of view.
Yeah.
That's come I always like check myself with like, when I see some of this, like when I do things, I tell people this is John Ashford saying this. This is not anything else. This is my point of view. But the difference with it, I'm willing to check my point of view and let some stuff go. Are
Yeah.
you?
Sometimes.
Tell me more about sometimes. Sometimes.
The human in me likes to be right and
Ooh,
will fight for my limitations from time to time. But
yeah,
most of the time, I'm pretty flexible. Most of the time, I'm like, oh, is that point of view creating for me? Is it creating what I would like to be experiencing? And then
yeah.
I'm willing to shift.
See, there's a thing that I wrote down. Where did I write that down? I have it on here. Just where did I put it someplace? When you actually, uh, we are entrained to be right in this reality. We're trained to be right, so we push back wrongness. Even our schooling system sets it up from day one. You can't not make a mistake because you have a grade point average. The day you go into school, the grade point average is 4 point, and it goes down from there. You can keep it up, but you go down. What if the grading system was not existing? It's about what did you know?
Yeah.
And what if we start? Here's another dope thing. I hate the money that teachers are paid. If I
Oh
was
my
president,
gosh.
I sound like that song from the guy from Fugees. If I was president, y'all don't know who that is, so I guess anyway, I'll leave Fuji. Some people know. But if I was president for a day, I would fuck up the school system.
Oh, yeah. We should do that anyway. I
Yeah,
mean, it's already falling apart. We should just pick up the pieces, put it back
yeah. When
together
I
in a
pick up
different
the
way.
pieces, walk up to it and just nudge it so it can fall down completely,
Yeah.
and get big systems out of it.
Yeah.
What do you learn in school that actually there's no arts no more really.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where you are, but yeah.
Yeah. And what would Dr. King be saying right now about the school system? See, that's the thing about, and what happens is that I think Dr. King passed, and even people will get comfortable, and I have no problem with being comfortable. I like comfortable. I like loose clothes because they're comfortable. Tight clothes, I feel I'm a horrible person. Or tight clothes, don't know no tight clothes. Can't have that shit. But
You in tight clothes is me hungry.
yes, yes. But what would be happening if King was looking at some of our systems right now?
Very good question.
Yeah. I look at all the things. I have mixed feelings on a lot of stuff. And at my job, I have posters on my wall. I have MLK in front of me in the house he grew up in the church. Because I had this interesting scenario one time happen to me. I went with my mom's friend to Atlanta, Georgia, to his church in the house he lived in. I had this out of body experience with. I went in there, I could hear him speak, and it was almost like I was transported to the time period when he was speaking, and I felt like I was him. It
Yeah.
was the weirdest scenario I ever had. Shit was crazy. And my mom's friend, my friend too, Sister Bridget from Congo, she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, and I sat there for a little bit, and it almost felt like it was kind of sci-fi because I was sitting there. I was like, "What's happening?" And we went over to the house, and I was just like, "Wow." And what I realized is the intensity of this dude's caring.
Hmm.
See what I realized, and I got this from my buddy Bernie about when I started doing meditation. Dr. King was a light being, and we weren't ready for him.
We haven't been ready. We're still not ready. I
Mm.
guess more of us
But
are.
more now than in the past.
Yeah.
Because to be a
Yeah.
light being, you have to be able to have a dream, and you have to be willing to put action in the dream. A lot of people have a dream and they don't take any steps. They sit back, I have a dream, and I'm gonna sit in this chair and it's gonna manifest.
You also
No,
have to be willing to heal,
yeah,
which heal the conditioning of this reality and this society. And truly, like, no matter what your society is, there's healing that needs to happen.
yeah,
And you also have to be willing to be different.
yeah,
If you, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, like, if Rosa was like, oh, let me give up my seat like everybody else, we wouldn't be here.
yeah. Yeah, I thought
It's,
about that once in a while too. What would it be like? And I think the challenge right now is that everybody's waiting for Dr. King, Malcolm, Mother Teresa, whoever. And the person that they're waiting for, they need to, when they go in the bathroom, look in the mirror and be like, I am the one.
yeah,
I am the one who's going to make the change.
yeah.
I
And
think,
I also want to speak to those everyday incremental changes
yes.
because I think what you're getting at, and correct me if I'm off path, but that like we're waiting for somebody else to save us
Oh, yeah.
when like but it doesn't, the change that you make in the world doesn't have to look Malcolm X level for it to be Malcolm X level.
Yes. Yes. Because the work that they did allowed it to be a lot easier for us. So it's like sports. You watch somebody run a race in the Olympics and they run like, let's say, a mile in 2 minutes. The following year, everybody can run 2 minutes. And they're waiting for the next person to break that. So what has been broken that we haven't been willing to step through, that if we step through it, a lot of more ease and peace will be on planet Earth.
Yeah.
We don't have to reinvent stuff, but we
And
have to do
like
something different.
what came to me is 100th monkey syndrome. Are you familiar
Yep.
with that?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Tell
For
people they
those
might not know that.
for those listening, there was a study done, and Google it because I'm gonna fuck up the details. Just want you to know. But there were these monkeys on this island, and they taught them to basically like dig for sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And over time, after over 100 monkeys had been taught this thing,
On that
the
one island.
monkeys on other islands who had never had any contact with these monkeys who learned how to dig for sweet potatoes suddenly knew how to dig for sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And if you think that the changes that you're making in your life isn't going to impact the whole, you're not going to be a Dr. King or a Mother Teresa or a Rosa Parks, that's not actually true. You on your path doing your work, and me on my path doing my work, and John on his path doing his work, 101 of us later, we
It's
get that
happening.
osmosis
Yep.
moment
Yep.
of, I can do this
Yep.
because enough of us are already doing it.
Yep.
So if you think you're insignificant,
Yeah.
if you think what you're doing doesn't matter, if you think it's on such a small scale, nobody's going to care, remember that literally everything you do is impactful.
Everybody. And this is a piece that I sometimes say to people, you know, I, you know, I work for the county, and my sister Lonnie Nellis was on there. I don't know if she's here, still there. What's up, Lonnie? And I find it kind of amazing at the county that we do things. And I get it. First, I was a little bit resistant. I was like pronouns and stuff, and where are you from, and the land that we're on. And I remember
Land
going in there,
acknowledgements, yeah.
and I said in the meeting, I don't like being told what I have to be. So I'm an infinite being. I'm a it. And the reason I say that, and I was making like it was funny to me at first when I was saying it, but the issue with it is being you and being an infinite being means that I'm interconnected with every individual, whether I like it or not. That what chaps my ass is usually something I might want to look at with myself. And I'm effective of the people. And this is a piece just like what you said earlier. I think I lost Lila. Oh, there she's back. Okay.
No, I'm here.
Uh, so so one of the things that sometimes happens is that we don't know how powerful we are with each other in that whole theory of the 100 monkey. At the flip side of it, we also wake up affected by what's happening. Here's my Star Wars scene for you guys. Sit with me for a second. It was this little green dude that I hang out with, and his name is Yoda. And in one of the films, young Anakin, which was Darth Vader, went home and wiped out everybody on the planet that killed his mama. And Yoda wobbled over to a chair and sat down, and he was talking to Mace Windu, was Samuel Jackson character. And he said, "I feel a break in the force."
Mm,
And what he was experiencing, all the death of those individuals and the anger of this child.
mm,
What if we're waking up? What if Dr. King knew what was to come and he actually laid out a plan, but we have to be willing to follow it?
mm.
What if Malcolm had a plan and we have to be willing to follow it? What happens when we're not doing what happens when we're doing the same thing that they did in the past 50, 60 years ago and it's become obsolete?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I don't think if we follow the 100 monkey, where we can actually start doing more deep ass shit with each other, like the separation and this shit. Nobody's looking at some of this shit. I'm just amazed of our country. I'm fucking amazed. I was like, people don't look at history repeating itself. Are you some type of new ass?
No, people aren't looking at history repeating itself because history is wearing a different set of pajamas.
Yeah, but I mean, but you can smell it. It's the same shit.
You can smell it. You can smell it because it's in your DNA.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess
That's
yes,
interesting.
yes,
I
yes.
want to like nerd out about that later. I have a teacher who is the only other person that I know who does pattern breaking work.
Mm-hmm,
And she has been saying the same thing since the beginning of our current adventure. And when people are like giving up their
mm-hmm,
rights, their bodily autonomy rights
mm-hmm,
for some basic ass privileges, like I can sit in a restaurant and have somebody else cook me a burger instead of
mm-hmm,
cooking my burger and eating it at home. My
mm-hmm.
burger at home is 9 times better most of the time, but I
Yes. Oh,
digress.
yes, yes.
Um, but she's Jewish.
Yeah,
So you can smell a Holocaust coming
yeah,
when it's in your genes.
yeah,
You can smell slavery
yeah,
coming when it's in your
yeah.
genes.
But and here's the piece about it. But if you're willing to lower, and that's the piece about it, we have given up capacities for being comfortable. We've given up capacities. We've given up capacities. I'm saying this over. We've given up capacities to have a fake sense of comfort. And I think Dr. King called people on that. But even so, people still made it, or that's Dr. King's doing. And until people get up off their fucking ass, excuse me, Facebook for using that word, and actually step out there and step onto the field, this shit's not going to change. It's
Yeah.
not going to change. Dr. King ain't coming back, y'all. They've already been here, and people are still waiting for that. And for me, it's just like, what would it take for people to step into the energy of the Kings, of the Malcolms? What does it take? And this has nothing to do with race. We
Mhm.
did a class, and here's the interesting piece. We did a class about race.
Both classes,
No class.
most of the people
It
white.
was white. Where and I ain't mad at people. I'm like, hey, it was a dope ass cast. Like I said, if I'm having fun, I'm gonna keep on doing shit. But the
Yeah.
whole scenario of it is, where have we fell asleep?
Mhm.
Where have we fell asleep and we stop? And even and I'm not gonna give that person people out there if it's in your DNA, because that is a concept of this fucking reality. As an infinite fucking being, I get to choose. Once you get to a certain level, it's like this. Let me say this.
All
I have
right,
a black
Sia.
belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Y'all can see my belts up on the wall. I keep them up there. So yeah, that's the black belt. Okay, and they've been up there since the 2000s. So I've been since 2000. I have 1999. I got my black belt.
Oh.
And once you get to a certain level of martial arts, they start to blend. Some of the stuff starts to look the same. Some of the movements are the same because your practice makes a change. And what I'm saying is that we have been pushed out of a practice of being beyond what we think we are. And everything slowly is being pulled out that you look at the outside source instead of you being the source.
Yeah.
Just saying. What's up, Mr. Johnson?
So, hey Trey, glad you found it. So, I'm gonna not so much devil's advocate, but I'm gonna pivot just a smidge because what I think access does, and potentially other modalities with that infinite being like point of view,
Hmm.
which isn't wrong,
Hmm.
is bypass the whole I'm in a fucking body part of this. Like, yes, I'm in an infinite being
Hmm.
and I'm in a body, and we have to look at both. And if we are only living our humanity, then we're missing a part. And if we're only living our spirituality, then we're
Yeah.
missing a part.
Yeah. So with that though, the reason I'm always going, because of the Michael Jordans of the world. He could fly.
Yeah,
He could fly. And once he started flying, everybody started flying. And what I'm saying is that
right.
he's embodied. And
But
what about the people embodied that can do stuff that we like, oh wow. Like I watch this cat from Southeast Asia, I want to say, that the Europeans used to come down and climb all these high mountains. So it's either on Netflix or the special is on Amazon. And it was this one brother who was like climbing all the top highest peaks in the world. And no one's ever done it. He did it in 30 or 40 days. Everybody else took like 16 years forever. And he's embodied, but he's decided. And now here's the piece about it. You're right. You're embodied, but he knew that his body could do something different because he was willing to ask questions of his body to be different.
yeah,
All the people that we admire, the reason we always, for me, the reason we sign up and we love the superheroes is that the Incredible Hulk can get big and do this stuff. Iron Man, Black Panther has this ability to jump and fly and do certain things. People love the concept of being able to be outer body. So I think that when you play the
why?
because they don't realize that they're already there, they have to just be willing to choose it. How many things are we doing today that's always been have the gray matter that we didn't do 20 years ago because the gray matter wasn't there because people start pushing the gray matter, the 100 monkeys.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that I agree with you in the body, but I don't want people to leave here and be like, oh, I'm embodied, so I can't do that. That's a fucking
No,
choice.
that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is there needs to be a blending of the two. There
Yeah.
needs to be I'll speak for my own personal
Hmm.
experience and a conversation that I had with a friend last week. So at Christmas, I got off social media for like 3 days because I wasn't working. I didn't need to be on there, and I was looking at stuff that was pissing me off.
Yeah.
And what I was looking at that was pissing me off was a friend of mine that I love dearly living a dream that I have had my entire life, that I, because of choices that I made and circumstances that arose that encouraged those choices, am not going to live.
Right.
I'm not going to live because I ain't having no more fucking kids.
Yeah.
I love my three. That is it. I'm done. So I'm watching her give her daughter like all of these things, and daughter's napping with dad, and I am jealous, and I like leave social media.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from my experience or my ability to like create a different future for myself. However, I'm not her. I
Yeah.
haven't lived her experience. And so, even though our dreams are similar and she's living her version of it and what I think would be my ideal version of it, I have to account for the fact that she grew up in a sort of middle class experience and she still has support like today
Uh-huh.
that I don't have.
Yeah.
So I can't look at her and be like, I can still have that. I mean, I could. But I have to also take into account my lived experience, and that has to be part of my journey. I can't leave that out because I'm an infinite being and actually get anywhere. And I know this because I've done it for years.
Yeah.
It's the metaphysical community's version of spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
It's the church's version of just pray about it.
Yeah.
Like I have to be I have to be the me in my body. I have to make sure that I'm not a walk-in
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or I don't have entities in here like fucking shit up. But the bottom line is me doing my work and blending the physical with the spiritual is me digging for sweet
Yeah.
potatoes.
Yes.
And when I get to that point of healing where I've dug up enough sweet potatoes and it's now spreading by osmosis,
Yeah.
then I'll be a version of Jordan.
Yeah.
But I don't, I'm not even aspiring to like jump like that. Let's just be
Yeah.
real. So that's what I mean when I say like there needs to be both. I
Yes.
have to do my healing work. I have to be in truth. I have to be embodied and aligned. Otherwise, I'm living in fantasy and I'm just out here.
Yeah.
Or I'm living in the trauma and I'm not creating anything,
Yeah.
like my last 8 months.
So and I hear you 100%. My and of it is that I guess the end of it is what lies has this reality given us that we're greater than what we think we are.
Mm,
And for me, the reason I'm saying that is that there comes a point where you can do superhero shit if you get in a car accident in your car and you pull the door up. You don't wait to say I'm embodied that I can't do that. You look at the
yeah,
door, you see your baby in the car, you see the gas smoking, and you pull the fucking door off and you get your child out. And
yeah.
the fire department get there and be like, how did you look at? She's only
What
120 pounds.
happened?
How'd she do that shit?
Yeah,
My point of it is that there is a point, and I guess for me, at 58, I get excited to know that there's another capacity out there. And I just my desire is that people don't wait for it
yeah,
when it's present right there in front of you. And
yeah,
and I say that from my own experience. At 58 years old, there was times that I waited and I waited and I waited. The whole thing about me telling you how I thought I appeared. I really like John Ashford now. I'm a handsome dude. There was
good.
a point where I was like, and I waited. And so what I'm saying is that I guess my urgency at this point in my life is what would it take? I always use this term. You're magical. I
Yeah,
sent a sister, sent me from Russia, sent me something. I said, you're magical. Please don't hesitate on the magic that you be.
yeah,
Or all around us is this universe that's showing ease. At nighttime when over here, what I like about living in Southwest Washington, at night when I look up in the sky, I can't fucking count the stars.
yeah,
When the trees are in bloom, I can't count the damn leaves.
yeah,
When I go to the beach, I can't count the grains of sand. But yet, I'm not going to play in the miracle of abundance, where
yeah,
it's all around. When you go in the ocean, even as we're fucking up the ocean, fish keep on coming. In Africa, we fucking up the continent. Diamonds keep on coming out. It
yeah,
doesn't stop. It's a plethora of a possibility. But yet, there's something that I know in my body that we're not tapping into that will get us there quick. And it's not a wrongness of it. Here's the piece about it. It happens when you're ready to happen. I get
yeah,
that 100%. But
yeah,
my urgency when I'm doing the group on Wednesdays and Thursday night, I do Savalti. It's a men's group that Tim Logan has in Portland. When I'm doing that group, I do that group, and like I told you, I don't make hardly no money doing that group. It's the least paid event that I've ever done, but I do it because I know the brothers in there are hungry for another possibility.
Yeah.
And I can see it in their eyes. What happens though when we start to say certain things, and it's the seed. It's seed plant. I'm being a farmer. I'm being Farmer John. You take the seed, you put it into the dirt. The rain comes, the water comes. Somebody step on it, kick the leaves off, and stuff. The leaves fall on the soil changes. The plant gets stronger and stronger every year. That's the desire, and that's what I knew that Dr. King did for me. It
I
was
love that.
planting the seed.
I love that you brought the farmer analogy in because I think that's what I'm advocating for and what I'm saying is
Yes,
that there are quantum leaps.
yes,
There are quantum leaps.
yes,
But like in earth school, a lot of it is you planted a seed.
yeah,
Don't go dig it up and find out if it's
yeah,
growing. Leave it the fuck alone.
yeah.
Water it, nurture it, make sure it gets everything that it needs. And then, like, what happens if a crop fails? You plant another one next fall.
Exactly, exactly. Never quit.
Yeah.
Never quit.
So
Yeah.
you're not turning into a pumpkin this morning, but I got to
No.
go back to work.
Okay. Okay. It's always a pleasure, y'all. Happy MLK Day.
What do you have coming up? Tell the friends.
Oh, yes, I have. You could go to my website, www.beingjohnashford. I have a money class starting
Foundation.
this Saturday. It's a 5 week or 6 week. You have to go to my website. It's being the energy of money. I've discovered some energy possibilities with money that it's not about how hard you work. And that's part of the thing I'm talking about. I'm learning. I'm like, ooh, it's just shifting your energy about being something that attracts something. So I'm doing that, and that's going to be like a 5 week, 2 hour class. So I think it goes up until March. And I have a foundation class the following weekend, which is the second class of access. And I'm going to Michigan, Detroit, to do a teacher class. And I'm going to Russia in April.
He's
So
going to Russia in
I'm
April.
actually I'm gonna be busy, y'all. But yeah, thanks for you guys who hang out with us. We're a little bit late today because I wanted to sleep in. Hope that wasn't too bad for you guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day off. I ask you to do something special for you and do me a favor. Smile at somebody who can't do anything back for you. Just let them know that they're special.
No. Bye, friends.
Bye.